Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Salaar Khan here, and today we see the topic of unit impulse signal. Okay, unit impulse signal. Now this is a very important signal. Okay, the unit impulse signal. Now, if it is represented by sorry, the notation of delta. I don't know, sometimes it's called sigma and sometimes delta. Over here, let's say we call it delta. So let's say we have it in the discrete time domain. So the delta of n, this is equal to 1 at n equal to 0, and this is equal to 0 where n is not equal to 0. So this is the signal. Okay, so if you draw it graphically, so how would it be? So this is your n axis and this is your x of n axis, and so in this case delta of n, so you have a 1 over here, it is 0 otherwise, isn't it so? Now similarly, now this is also called as a direct delta function, right? Direct delta. So if I could write it over here, this is also known as the direct delta function or signal. Similarly, you have this in the discrete time domain. So in the discrete time domain, if you have delta of t, so this is again equal to 1 at t equal to 0, and this is equal to 0 where t is not equal to 0. Well, this 1, this is not basically 1, this is an undefined, this basically is infinity, this is infinity, this one is also infinity, but this one we took over here just for introducing it for simplicity. How is this infinity? So I'm coming to that. Now why is this called unit? Unit, where did this name unit come from? So this is called unit because the area under this function is always 1, because area is always 1. I believe this marker is not working properly. Area is always 1. So what do you have? The area is, let's say, negative infinity to positive infinity. You have this delta of n, let's say t, delta of t dt, this would always be equal to 1. Now we come to the explanation of it. So let's say we consider a function, let's say it is x of t, and it has some values that it is 1 over 2a and 0. This is 1 over 2a and 0. And when is this 0? When it is 1 over 2a, it is 1 over 2a in between negative a and positive a, and it is 0 otherwise. So if you draw it graphically, so have a look. If this is your time axis and this is your x of t axis, so if this is negative a, this is this is positive a, so the value over here is 1 over 2a. This is a function, right? Now what do you have? If you find the area of it, so you integrate it from negative infinity to positive infinity, right? If you want to find the area of this black curve, so you have to integrate it from negative infinity to positive infinity, x of t dt, and this is simply a rectangular area, which means its width multiplied by the height. So you could say that if the height is what? The height is 1 over 2a, and the width is what? It's a plus a, it's 2a, so which means the area of this is supposed to be 1. Is that okay? Now if I reduce the width, so let's say now I take another signal with the range of negative a by 2 to positive a by 2. So let's say if this is negative a by 2, let's say this is positive a by 2. So what will happen? Now the width, the height of the function would increase. Now the height would become 1 over a. The height would become 1 over a, right? The width is reduced, so to maintain the condition of unit area, the height of it would increase. Now again, if you find the area, so in this case it would be the height is 1 over a, the width is what? The width is a by 2 plus a by 2, it's a, so the area is again equal to 1. Area is again equal to 1. So have a look. From here we will derive this unit impulse signal, that as the width of the signal will reduce to 0, the height of the signal would go where? Would go to infinity, and the area staying unity. So if I write it over here, if the width tends to 0, this would imply what? This would imply the height tending to be infinite, and this is the case. Width is 0, height is infinite, but the area is still unity. The area is still unity, and this is the case that I told you that this is undefined at t is equal to 0. So this is the simplification of the unit impulse signal. Now let's say we see some properties of it, okay? So for that I would remove all of it. Okay, so let me give the heading of properties. So out of which the first property is that the area of a unit impulse signal is always 1. Area of unit impulse is always 1. So if I tell you how is it, so let's say if we have a signal x of t dt is equal to 1, so that signal x of t that I took, x of t is that signal that I took over here, okay, that I was reducing the width. So we saw that the x of t area, if it is integrated from negative infinity to positive infinity dt, this is equal to 1, right? Now the steps, the impulse signal was derived from this by limiting the value of a to 0. So the unit impulse was what? Represented by this sign. It's limit the value of a approaching to 0, x of t, right? X of t, and the value of which is what? It's undefined and 0. So undefined and 0. Undefined at t is equal to 0. T is, otherwise it is 0. So this is your unit impulse signal. Now if you calculate the area of it, so if you calculate the area of this unit impulse signal, so unit impulse signal is derived from this signal, right? So if you put it this thing now inside the integration, so if you put this thing inside the integration, that is negative infinity to positive infinity limit a approaching to 0 x of t dt, right? So let's say we take the limit out of the integration, so we have a limit a approaching 0, negative infinity to positive infinity x of t dt, and this thing is 1. We know this thing is 1 from the previous slide, you can say. So, and limit will have nothing to do with a constant quantity, it is 1. So this is its proof. The second thing we talk about is the weight or strength of the impulse. weight or strength of an impulse. So what is the weight or strength? So consider a weighted impulse. Now weight is what? Weight is something multiplied with the impulse, okay? So let's say we consider a weighted impulse. Consider A times delta of t. Consider A times delta of t, right? Now if you have to find out the area of it, okay? So let's say this is A naught. So if you want to find out the area, so the area would be what? It's negative infinity to positive infinity A naught delta of t dt. Right? Now A naught would be any constant number, so which means that A naught would come out of the integration. So if A naught comes out of the integration, you have a negative infinity, positive infinity delta of t dt. Now if this, we know that this is supposed to be 1, right? This is supposed to be 1, so the area comes out to be A naught. So the area of a weighted impulse is equal to the weight of that impulse. This is simple. So you write it down for yourself. I'm not writing it. I will finish it in a hurry because have a look. Very hot in here. The area of an impulse is, the area of a weighted impulse is equal to the weight of that impulse. Right? Now the third property. The third property is the integration of this function would give you a step function. This is very important. This we will see in a separate video in a detail. Similarly, the integration of a weighted impulse would give a weighted step function. We'll see this in detail, okay? And if I write over here, so u of t you know, but still u of t is step signal. We saw it in an example previously also. We have detail to come. The next topic after unit impulse is the unit step. This is third. The fourth is impulse signal is an even signal. Impulse is an even signal. And you know what this means? This means that delta of t is equal to delta of negative t. Isn't it so? So this is the fourth property. The fifth property is that either this is energy signal, either power or neither energy nor power. So impulse signal is neither energy nor power signal. Why? Because it has a magnitude of infinity at t is equal to 0. It has a magnitude of infinity at t is equal to 0, and this is what I believe we have not discussed. If I have problems on energy and power signal, which I will be doing after this unit impulse and unit step signals. Okay, so if I have not discussed this point in the introduction of energy and power signals, so you will understand it over there. Time shift, you can time shift it, you can time scale it. Okay, so that is something easy, fine. Time shifting and time scaling, you know it. Time shifting and scaling, you know how to do it. So I'm not going into this property. The next is multiplication of a signal by unit impulse. Multiplication of a signal by unit impulse. So let me tell you now. Let's say we have a signal. We need to go into detail of this, okay? Or this is the sampling property. Well, we'll see that in a detail as well. This is the sampling property. Leave it. Multiplication of a signal by unit impulse. Leave it, okay? Or let it be, but I have a separate video, maybe the next one, okay? This is known as the sampling property, for which I have the next video. So leave it for now. And finally, if you want to find out, this is the eighth property now. So what does the eighth property say? It says that if you find the area of a negative infinity to positive infinity, x of t multiplied with a signal delta t minus t1, this would equal to dt. This would simply equal x of t1, which is a constant. The ninth property is about the nth derivative. So the ninth property is about the nth derivative, okay? So let's say you are finding the integration negative infinity to positive infinity x of t, the nth derivative, dn, dtn of delta of t minus t1. So this would equal negative 1 to the power n, nth derivative of x of t at t equal to t1. Nth derivative of x of t at t equal to t1. And this property is only applicable if, for property number 9, we have a condition. This is only applicable if x of t at t equal to infinity, x of t at t equal to infinity is 0 or it is finite. So this is it, okay. Now I'll see if we have some examples over it. So the examples I would see in the next video. We also have another property which is, well, not important at all, but the 10th property is that the derivative of this is called a doublet function. The derivative d dt of the impulse signal is called doublet function, and it is an odd function. So that's all about today, okay. Now I'll take a little break. I will let myself a little clean up, take some air, drink some water, and then I will come back and record another video, maybe on examples on these properties. The sampling property, I don't know whatever I'll record first, but that's all about this lecture, okay. See you in the next one very soon, inshallah. Till then, take care of yourselves and everyone around you. Goodbye.